Let's talk about the Miami one. Both of us on the emergency podcast on Friday liked the idea of them essentially making one trade that goes from 3 to 6, picks up an additional first rounder. And our, as usual, Timo Riske, PFF_Moo, brings up some good points about, well, why would you make that second trade? You've gotten this haul, you've moved back to 12. Why would you make this second trade? It's negative EV on its face. So how are you viewing the Miami move? 2 moves or 1?
Well, so here's a couple things. They're not necessarily not taking a quarterback there. And the 4th quarterback, Lance, in all likelihood, might be. So if this draft goes 3 quarterbacks, Atlanta stays put and takes Kyle Pitts, let's say. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati takes Penei Sewell. Mm-hmm. You're sitting there in your Miami at 6, and you have the pick of the top wide receiver in college in the draft. Ooh. You're also, and so you look at that offense. It's Devontae Parker, former first round pick, Jamar Chase, let's say, Jakeem Grant, Preston Williams, Mike Gesicki. Like, that's a good offense, right? You're getting, like, if you're at 6, right, and it goes QB, you're getting one of Sewell, who's minus 1,000 to be the number 1 O-lineman. You're getting Chase, who's minus 225 to be the number 1 wide receiver. Or you're getting Kyle Pitts, who I think that prop is off the board because it's such a lock. Mm-hmm. You're getting one of the best players at those positions. Or if Lance doesn't go in you get the pick of one of 2 of those players. Or if Lance doesn't go off the board in pick 4 or 5, you might have a groundswell of teams, let's say, and you have enough plausible deniability at 6 with your QB and Tua that you could say, hey, Detroit, if you want to move up and get the quarterback of the future, you better give us a little bit of –
yes.
If Carolina, if you want the quarterback of your future, better move up here. If you're, Denver, right? Like Denver could – or like we've also seen this before, Morris Claiborne. We've seen this. Hey, Jerry, how would Kyle Pitts look in silver and white, right? Mm-hmm. Like the possibilities there. And here's my thing. Like, this might be speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but like one of the points I made on Friday was once you have enough first round picks, mm-hmm. the marginal value to you of each of them is not quite as big because you have to play all of them and then you have to extend all of them. And then you're dealing with a financial situation. It's a little lopsided, right?
Yeah.
So again, I agree with Timo. I agree with the math and all that kind of stuff. But I do see some merit in sort of like getting a position at 6 and just saying, look, like this is a pivot point in the entire draft, and I want to be there. I don't mind it at all.
I'm glad you brought that point up because I had 2 points to make on this. The first was I don't think they've locked in on picking at 6, and knowing the cadence that you expect with quarterbacks and how many good quarterbacks there are, or how many quarterbacks in the minds of many there are that are good, you put yourself in a position to gain more information and then move back if you want to and pick up another first, right? So you would move back not all the way to 12. And I view 12 as a kind of shitty position because the stud players are going to be gone at that point. You can stay at 6, either take, and I would guess that at 6, they've got 1 or 2 guys who are like, if this guy's there, we're taking him. And my guess is if you're there, you're like, it's Jamar Chase. Let's say it's Jamar Chase, right? And the reason that I want Jamar Chase is I have to know about Tua this year. I have to. So waiting at 12 and hoping, and at 12, who's the best receiver you're getting? Jalen Waddle? I need Jamar Chase.
You're getting a defensive player in all likelihood, right? Yes. If you want the best at a certain position, you're probably like Micah Parsons or Kwity Paye or Christian Barmore. Like
that's an even better point, though, because you have to know about Tua. You have to bring in a talented pass catcher. You have to give them the whole thing, right? And imagine this: Jamar Chase, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, like. Amazing. Kyle Pitts, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker. That will allow you to say, hey, Tua, you've got everything you need here. Make it happen. And you've seen receivers in their first year make huge contributions right off the bat. So don't give me that, right? Justin Jefferson from LSU just a year ago. So to me, both of those points together give me, I have no problem with it. And I understand where Timo's coming from, but I think you are denying the fact that they're still, they're not locked in. They can still move.
Yeah. Well, and again, the existence of Mac Jones and the existence of Trey Lance means that in let's say a team trades up with the Bengals and takes Mac Jones at 5, and then you're getting the best non-quarterback in the draft too. There's a lot of outs there. And I think the problem is, I could be wrong, but I think on draft day, you're paying up more, right? If you really want the 6th pick, you're paying up more on draft day. Now and look, from Philadelphia's standpoint, I like the trade too. That's the side of it. I'll say maybe both teams didn't it's the same thing with the Niners. I actually really like the Niners, moving up, even though if you don't factor in quarterback, they lost the trade by a mile. But you factor in quarterback, that's what makes the pick sort of the trade a win-win for both of these teams because of the way that QB is valued here. It's probably the same thing. Philadelphia is in a situation right now where the best of anything doesn't really help them that much. We'll make fun of this now, but the Dolphins in the first year of their tank went Christian Wilkins at 13, right? And then the Carolina Panthers, I don't like the Derek Brown pick, but I can understand it kind of in the sense of there was not one player that was going to make Carolina better. So they just kind of took, a well-regarded player there. I don't know if that's actually what Philly's going to do, but they're in a position where it makes some sense to do so now at 12, as opposed to 6. You might get a play I don't know. My issue with Philly is if you pick at 12, you're much more likely picking at 6 again, right? Which is exactly what you want if you're in this rebuild.
I agree with that. And the one thing that'll be interesting from Philly's standpoint is whether this means they have I could see them going with JC Horn or something like that, and either getting him at 12 or trading back even further. But they need to accumulate picks. We talked about this already. And it's not the tough thing for them is you want to find out about Jalen Hurts, but I think they're in less of a desperate situation than say the Dolphins are, where the cost of moving away from Jalen Hurts is 0, you just go pick at 6 again. Right. But the Dolphins are going to have to make some moves to get off of Tua because they're going to be good. Whereas with the Eagles, they're going to suck, so they're going to be able to move up and get their quarterback next year if they want him. And you've got Rager, who you expect to improve a little bit. And you've got Goddard, so it's less about finding, is this my franchise guy? So that's why I really like it from Philly's perspective.
And Miami, Miami's in a difficult spot because you look at that division and the Jets are probably going to have a really high-end quarterback now. And the Bills are a top 5 franchise in the NFL. So to compete, right, you are going to – it's not good enough. It's weird to say. I'm pro QB on rookie deal because the bar is so much lower. But Tua might actually have to become a superstar even on a rookie deal for you to compete on a regular basis in the AFC East, as weird as that sounds. And Bill is not giving up either, right? This is a tough division now. And so when I look at Miami, to your point, Tua's a very big point here. And it could be 2 and done, even if he's okay. If he plays 10% better than he did last year, they're moving on.